Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this tutorial, I did this nice clean look. I did have a few hiccups with this look and showed you guys how I fixed them. So if you want to learn how I fixed my makeup, stay tuned and keep watching and let's play in makeup. I'm going to start off by moisturizing my face. I already washed it. I'm going to use the Virgin Marula Luxury Facial Oil. I'm going to go on top of that with the Tatcha Dewy Skin Cream. While my moisturizer is setting in, I'm going to go ahead and start on my eyebrows. I'm using the Anastasia Brow Freeze. I'm going to use the Mercier powders to set my brows. So this way it absorbs the brow freeze and the moisturizer underneath and it holds everything in place when I draw in my eyebrow. I'm using the Anastasia Brow Wiz in dark brown to fill in my eyebrows. I'm going to use my Kevyn concealer in the shade medium to carve out the bottom of my eyebrows. For the top of my eyebrows, I'm going to use my foundation. I'm going to carve them out using the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter Foundation in the shade 6.5 Deep. For my face, I'm also going to apply the MAC Prep and Prime Skin Base. I'm using the MAC Paint Pot and Soft Ochre to prep my eyelids. I'm using a dry beauty blender to blend in the paint pot. I'm going to be using the Natasha Denona Neutral Palette. I'm starting off in my crease with the shade Cocoa. I'm going to use Tusk as my transition shade to blend out the edge of the brown. I'm going to go into Pasha to deepen up that brown color. I'm going to go in with the MAC Paint Pot and carve out my lid. I'm going to go back into the shade Tusk and place it on the lid. I'm going to use the Absolute New York Blackout Eyeliner to line my eyes. I messed up on my eyeliner, so once it dried, I took a spoolie to scrape away the error. Once the liner came off, I went back in with the eyeshadow and packed it on, building up the opacity. Next, I'm using the Tarte Sex Kitten Eyeliner to line my lower lash line. The eyes are done for now. I'm going to go ahead and start on the face. I'm going to start off using the Charlotte Tilbury foundation. This foundation is a little bit warmer, it looks like, than my skin tone, but I'm going to go ahead and brighten it up with my concealer. And this is a Real Techniques Ultra Buff 256 brush. Because I didn't color correct, I have some darker areas that are showing through the foundation. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Stay Naked Concealer in 70 NY and Spot Conceal. And I'm just going to pat this in. The shade is a bit lighter, but it'll balance out once I do my highlight. So just to lightly set those areas, because I'm still using liquids, I'm going to go ahead and just use some setting spray to lock everything in. I'm going to use the Laura Mercier Translucent Pear Setting Spray. I'm going to give that a minute to dry down because I don't want to move any liquids around. For my concealer, I'm going to use the Kevyn concealer, the same shade I use under my brow bone. Maybe a bit lighter. If it is, I'll just tone it down with some powder. So this concealer feels like it dries down pretty quickly. So I'm going to go right in with the wet beauty blender and blend it in. Yes, this dries very quickly. I don't like it. It dries way too quick. I'm switching to the Born This Way Multi-Sculpting Concealer in the shade Sand. So now that I look like a bright ghost, I'm going to bring in some contour, some cream contour, and warm it up. So for my cream contour, I'm going to use the Makeup Forever sculpting palette, and I'm gonna go into this dark shade right here. So I'll take the sponge with the residual concealer on it and just tap lightly the top of it to blend in the nose contour so you don't see the lines. It all just kind of blends in. I'm gonna go ahead and spray my face down one more time and then set all my concealer areas with powder. Before I do powder, I'm gonna go ahead and do my blush. I'm gonna use the Vanessa Myricks Yummy Skin It-Girl for my blush. So it seems like when I use the brush to apply the blush, it looks like it's separating on my face. It's actually separating. I don't know why. It might be because the oil that I put on as a base, that might have something to do with it. I don't know. I'm gonna have to wipe this off and just reapply my foundation. So what I'm gonna do is just apply the Tatcha moisturizer again, and I'm gonna pull in the edge of my concealer so when I reapply it, you don't see where it stopped and start. Next, I'm gonna reapply my foundation. And then what I'm gonna do is take my Born This Way concealer and just reapply a little bit to these areas. Okay, that looks good, not bad. Then I'm gonna go back in with my contour and fix up where my cheekbones are. I wanted to do this blush. I'm gonna try it one more time and see if it was the oil that was messing it up. Yeah, it might have been the oil underneath that was separating the product. I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Bronzer number 2. For some reason, something is separating my makeup. Like I have another spot right here where it's separated. So I'm re-adding the moisturizer to this area. Yeah, I think it's that oil. Definitely think it's the oil. Looks like it's separating, it's breaking down the product. I'm gonna use MAC NC45 and just set my whole face. Now I'm gonna go in with MAC NC42 just for my highlighted areas. This is more of a lighter shade. The NC45 is my skin tone. The NC42 is more of my highlight shade. So now I'm just bringing the light back to my face by using a lighter foundation powder. I'm gonna go into the shade 3, the Charlotte Tilbury shade 3. It's a bit darker. I want a darker shade to kind of minimize my forehead. I have a big forehead. For my blush, I'm gonna use the One Size Blush Trio in the shade Cheeky Clapper. I'm gonna go into the shade Rosebud, the middle shade. I actually want a brighter shade than that. I'm gonna try out the Anastasia Blush Trio and Cocktail Party and use the shade Scorching. I'm gonna go back into the One Size palette and use their highlighter. For my mascaras, I'm going to use the Revolution 5D Whip Lift and the Benefit Fan Fest. I'm going to use the MAC Fix Plus Setting Spray. I'm going to line my lips using the MAC Lip Liner in Chestnut, and I'm going to use the Candy Glaze Lip Gloss by YSL. And this is just to help the lip liner glide on a little easier. Just a clear gloss. I'm gonna go in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Liquid Lipstick and Strip for the center of my lip. To brighten it up just a smidge, I have a white lipstick from Makeup Forever. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of this to my lips. And now I'm going to take a brush, a little bit of concealer, and go around my mouth to clean up my liner. I'm going with the Kevyn concealer. I'm going to go over the concealer with a little bit of foundation to balance out the color tone. I'm going to spray my face down for one final time, and guys, this is the final look. I'm going to use the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. Guys, this is the final look. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and learned a few things on how to fix your makeup when it messes up, because this was not easy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do like it, please give it a thumbs up, hit that like and subscribe button, and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you. Bye.